Welcome to today's Global Connections program. I'm Bill Miller. Global Connections Television is a privately funded, independently produced program that provides information on international issues and how they impact our own lives. We would encourage our visitors and guests to go to our website at www.globalconnectionstelevision.com to view previous programs. Also, if you are involved with any type of PBS or community access television station, or perhaps an educational institution that has an intra-campus television hookup, or you just have a website and you like our shows and would like to share them, please feel free to do so. Global Connections Television is provided free of charge as a public service. Today we're going to take a look at a very interesting program, a cervical cancer program, well, a program to prevent cervical cancer would be a better way to put it, in Haiti, and also learn a little bit about a very interesting organization called Rotary International. My guest is an expert on both of these topics. My guest today is Ann Heppermann, and Ann Heppermann is the district governor nominee for District 6710, a Rotary district from central to far western Kentucky. Ann is really the key motivator and coordinator of this project in Haiti. She has been a member of the Prospect Goshen Rotary Club since 2008, and she's currently the chair of the International Committee. Ann, welcome to today's Global Connections program.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
I appreciate you being with me today. Thanks. We're going to get into your really interesting anti-cervical cancer program in Haiti. But let's talk a little bit about an organization you and I are both members of. Full confession out there, Rotary International.
Correct.
We recall that Rotary International has 35,000 clubs in over 200 countries and territories and 1.2 million members around the world. It's one of the largest, if not the largest, service club in the world. Now, you're a member of the Prospect Goshen Club. What types of activities are you involved in internationally, and how did you get involved in this anti-cancer or anti-cervical cancer project in Haiti?
Our main focus internationally is what we call the beginning of the end of cervical cancer in Haiti. We actually had a guest speaker in 2013 that talked about the opportunity to train doctors and nurses to do a program that will detect cervical cancer before it becomes cancerous. And we decided that was something that we could do, and we've been working on it ever since.
Mm-hmm. And before I get too far away from Rotary International, we're talking about health programs, and Rotary International has been in the forefront on this, as other organizations have too. But I remember in 1987, Rotary International teamed up with the UN World Health Organization, with UNICEF, the UN Children's Fund, the Centers for Disease Control in Atlanta, Georgia, to eliminate the scourge of polio.
Right.
This is the largest international health project ever undertaken. When the program began, I think there were like 350,000 polio cases in '87. Today, last year they reported something like 16.
Right.
So it's really a very phenomenal program. And now you're dealing with a program. It's not quite as large as that one, but it's certainly major. So what involvement does your club have in this program?
Well, we have partnered with an organization in Haiti by the name of CapraCare. And in cooperation with CapraCare, we outfitted an exam room. We trained their doctor and nurse to administer the see and treat method, and we then provided the funding that they needed to keep this program going for 18 months.
Mm-hmm. Well, I have a whole list of questions for you, but I'll bet we're going to answer them as we go through 11 photos that you have. And let's just get into the first one, see and treat explanation slide. What exactly is that?
The see and treat is a method of detecting cervical cancer. The research behind it was funded by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, big supporters of Rotary, and they support this as well. When you swab a woman's cervix with ordinary vinegar, if there are any cancerous lesions present, they will turn white. And at that time, they can be frozen and removed if necessary, which literally saves a woman's life. Because in Haiti, cervical cancer is the leading cause of death of women there, and the main problem is a lack of access to reasonable or reliable detection methods. And so this is what we are implementing in the Fonfred-Lacaille area, a way to detect cervical cancer there before it becomes cancerous.
And that's remarkable, just with vinegar.
Yes.
Just common household vinegar, very inexpensive, over the counter. you can perform miracles to some degree.
You can save lives.
That's
A
right.
gallon of vinegar will save 250 lives.
Well, let's look at the next slide, or photo, I should say, Capricare facility in Haiti map.
Capricare is located in Fonfred, which is about 6 miles inland from Le Cai, with Le Cai being on the very southern border and in a part of Haiti that has very little or no reproductive health services there. Capricare is there because its founder, Jean-Pierre Louis, was born in Fonfred, and he now has this organization that provides all kinds of services, but he was particularly interested in expanding reproductive health services. And he and we decided implementing the see and treat method in his facility in Fonfred was a great way to start.
We're going to have a lot of information being pushed out in 26 minutes. Before I forget it, I do want to mention your website, www.pgrotary.net.
Right.
And our viewers can go to that for more information and to find out everything we're talking about today and probably a little more.
Probably.
A little more. Now, the next photo has a shipping container. Anybody that's ever shipped into a developing country certainly has a story or two to tell. What is this, what's in the shipping container and what is your story?
The shipping container is full of donated medical supplies and equipment. We worked with Supplies Overseas, which is located in Louisville. They gather up supplies and equipment that's no longer being used. They make it available to folks like us. So we put all that stuff on the shipping container, and it got stuck in customs for 80 days.
Sounds
we
interesting.
thought we would pay no more than $3,000 in custom fees, and they thought we would pay $33,000. We got out for $117. We're very grateful about that. But that's our main story. Without Supplies Overseas, though, this would have cost a lot more. What we paid for simply was the shipping container itself and to get it shipped over.
Did you have a Rotarian, a contact down there? Because so often these situations can be mollified or taken care of if you have a Rotarian who knows the system or is in a position to be able to provide assistance.
Well, and we were incredibly lucky on all kinds of levels. We applied for a global grant from Rotary International, which made this possible. In order to get that, you have to have a cooperating club in whatever country you're working in. And then it just so happened that the Prime Minister of Haiti, when this was going on, as well as one of the deputies in the Ministry of Health, Rotarians from Port-au-Prince, and we went right to them. And I know it is the Prime Minister who got us out for $117.
That's very good, yes.
Yes, it was.
Now the next photo is unloading the container. You have a large container full of supplies. What happened? What transpired there?
Well, and the reason why I show this, we were struck when we went to Haiti about the resourcefulness and the willingness to work hard. We needed help to unload that shipping container, and Jean-Pierre made one call, and 10 to 12 young men showed up and worked for a day and a half to get all of the stuff out of the shipping container over to the facility, the Capricare facility, which is about a mile away. And that was the first example of all of the ways the Haitian people helped bail us out that week.
Now the next one focuses on the exam room, and that's just part of a very basic structure that you're using. Is that correct?
It's a very basic structure. There may be 3 or 4 rooms. Only one had a door, so that was the door. That was the room that got picked for the cervical exams. It was tired. It needed a painting job. We said that once out loud, and the Haitian folks showed up and did exactly that, because after we cleaned it out, it was clear that it perhaps had not been painted in 7 or 8 years. But so they did it for us. And then what you see, and this is going to be the next picture, but it leads me right into the nitrogen tank. We had issues with the nitrogen tank. We had issues with the cryo gun.
Now, could you explain what are these used for?
The cryo gun is used to freeze the lesions, if there are any lesions there. The nitrogen is what is needed in order to power the cryo gun. And we had to get our nitrogen from the Dominican Republic because there wasn't any to be had in Haiti. and the coupling that we had brought along that fits so well in the United States did not fit on the Dominican Republic nitrogen tanks. But an individual there built it for us. It took him 12 hours to build a coupling that did work. Now, we did then blow out all the plastic tubing on the cryo gun, but with duct tape.
Was that in the plan?
No, with duct tape and matches, we cobbled together something that actually did work.
Very good. Now, we might mention, too, that Haiti is on the island of Hispaniola with the Dominican Republic. The Dominican Republic comprises about 3/5 of the island, Haiti about 2/5 of it. They both have comparable populations, I think a little over 10 million people each. And of course, the Dominican Republic, Kentucky is about 42,000 square miles in diameter or in size. The Dominican Republic is something like 28,000. Haiti's probably about 18,000. So that's a large population for a small area of land. But just putting it in perspective, and it's in the Caribbean, so we get a geographical fix on where they are. Well, let's talk about the exam room. We saw you painting it. Now it's finished. And what's in the exam room on slide 7?
Well, first of all, you see the table itself, and I think you see the light and the colposcope, perhaps the vinegar. One of my favorite shots on this slide, though, is the hand washing station. There is no running water in Haiti. There's no running water. There's no reliable source of power. And so what you do when there is no running water is you put water in a bucket and you get hand sanitizer and you put a bucket below it to capture the water that's coming out.
That's what you have to do.
That's what we did.
That's what you have to do.
That's what we did. And to be honest, we were unprepared for the lack of running water.
Yes, exactly. It's a new phenomenon. It's not to the Haitians, but it is when you come in from the outside.
Right.
It's very, very different. Well, the next one it talks about training and training shots. And of course, one of the main goals of any type of technical assistance program, be it a USAID, a Rotary International project, a U.S. Peace Corps, United Nations programs, whatever, is to try to train locals to do the job and to pass the baton to them, because you can't put people in every country to be there forever. It's too expensive and you wouldn't have the person power to do it. So what were you doing in the training shots?
Well, and you've hit on the excellent point. You cannot get a global grant if the project that you are implementing is not sustainable, at least for 3 to 5 years after Rotary leaves. And so what Rotary does and what we did, instead of simply going in and seeing a bunch of patients and then leaving, we trained Capricare's doctor and his nurse in the art of see and treat, and then made it possible for them to train additional nurses and midwives and doctors in the Lakai area. And part of that training, by the way, is seeing patients. So I know on the second day of training is when we started seeing patients, and we only made them wait like 6 or 9 hours while we tried to get the cryo gun.
Got to get the equipment back together.
That's right. That's right.
That's your number one challenge.
That's
always in a situation like that. Let's get an entree right into slide number 9, the patients. Who were the patients? Who were some of the patients? From how far did they come to the clinic? What were their responses?
The patients were principally from the Fonfred area. Some came from Lakai. Lakai is 6 miles away, and the only real transportation that most of the Haitians have is either a scooter or they walk. And so we had some people who walked. In fact, everybody who came to Capricare walked, some a mile, some 6 miles. These were women who had participated in some kind of community outreach program that Capricare let them know that there was an opportunity to be seen by a doctor, and then if they were interested, they went through an educational class to understand how to prevent getting cervical cancer again and why this was necessary. And once that was done, then they could sign up to be seen by the doctor. We saw 15 while we were there. 483 have been seen since we've left.
And the next shot is a shot of women of Haiti.
Yes. yes. We were truly blessed. And we knew that before Sunday. But on Sunday, they had a community-wide celebration at Capricare Diddy in Fun Fred so the women could come and meet us and we could meet them. And when they were asked whether or not they had any questions for us, 8 women stood up and talked about daughters and mothers and sisters who had died of cervical cancer. And now they had hope that they would not, because we had come. It was one of the most humbling days of my life. But we then knew we had won their hearts and they had won ours.
Does Haiti have one of the highest cervical cancer rates in the world?
It does.
Does it?
It does. In part because of the lack of detection methods. There simply isn't a way to detect it. A lot of the women don't go to the doctor. If you get cervical cancer, it is it's a death sentence, but cervical cancer is caused by a virus. And number one, the presence of lesions, there's about a 10-year shelf life before lesions are present and they become cancerous. And then the next part is there actually is a vaccine that you can provide to children between the ages of 9 and 13, where you can actually vaccinate against the virus that causes cervical cancer.
Okay, and let's take a look at the hopeful children. You mentioned
we
the hope of the
right
future and who are involved in eliminating this scourge.
Well, and at Prospect Goshen Rotary, we call this phase 2. We are actively recruiting other Rotary clubs and folks who would like to be involved in this project, but we hope to and plan to vaccinate about 2,700 boys and girls between the ages of 9 and 13 from the Fonfred, Lacaille, and Torbeck area through the school systems with the cooperation and help of the local and national government. And once again, we'll put that in process, and then Capricare will run with it after we go home.
Now, those were really interesting photos, beautiful photos, and really heart-rending photos. And I'm sure this experience will be with you for the rest of your life. As you've been involved in this project, and now this project has saved hundreds, and will save thousands of lives, without a doubt, and it'll expand too. Yours is not the only project in Haiti, I would imagine. It's one you're working on right now, but there are others that are out there. But yours could be a model for many other groups, other Rotary clubs perhaps, or could take a look at that and say, well, there are a lot of other communities. You've still got 10 million people in Haiti. Not all 10 million need assistance, but anyway, the point is that there's a large population there. What plans do you have to expand it? Would you like to expand it into other communities, or how would you like to move forward on it?
The answer to all of that is yes. We would particularly like to blanket the southern half of Haiti. While there are see and treat programs in the northern half, and I'm aware of one in Go Naive, and there are several in Port-au-Prince. In the southern half of Haiti, Port-au-Prince south, we're it. And that's not enough. Now, the exciting news is we are working with a group from Kansas City that involves Kansas City Rotarians, and a group from Jonesboro, Arkansas that involves Arkansas Rotarians. And the long range plan is for different districts within Rotary to pick their spot, and implement see and treat and then vaccinate, so that in 10 years, we'll have the southern half of Haiti pretty much taken care of.
And again, our viewers can go to your website at www.pgrotary.net to get more information on this. And of course, earlier we talked about Rotary International, the remarkable work that it's doing with the United Nations, with the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation and other groups to eliminate polio, to provide clean water, to help overcome poverty, to do a variety of projects around the world. And of course, if our viewers would like, they can go to the Rotary website at www.rotary.org to get more information about Rotary in general. As you look at this project, well, here we are, we're sitting talking about it now. It's up and running. When do you plan to go back, and what's the next phase in that community?
Well, so we're working on the vaccine portion of the project, which is another global grant. And over the next 3 to 6 months, we hope that and plan to get enough Rotary clubs in District 6710 for us to raise $30,000. And that also includes contributions from very well-hearted folks who may not be Rotarians. We take money from anybody, Bill. But we expect that that's going to take 3 to 6 months. We then would be ready to do the global grant. And when I'm doing my math, I think it's about this time next year that we would go back to implement the vaccine program. Now, the folks from Arkansas and Kansas City, hopefully they will be implementing the See and Treat before that.
And you mentioned we'll take money from anybody.
Right.
Of course, you are a 501c3
Yes, we
operation,
are.
which means you're tax deductible. So anyone who makes a donation can take it off the taxes, and that makes it a lot nicer. Not that it's absolutely necessary, but it still helps to move the ball forward and to perhaps generate more funding. Now, the Rotary, you may have mentioned this earlier, and perhaps I missed it. You're looking for $30,000. That's your seed grant. That can be rolled out through a variety of ways, getting district funding, that type of thing, global funding, global fund funding, whatever. What's your total figure you're looking at again? Was it like 150,000?
We believe that we can vaccinate the children in those 3 areas for between $90,000 and $130,000. The $30,000 is what local Rotarians would need to raise, and then that'll be matched by Rotary International and the Western District of Kentucky, so that the minimum that we think we need is $90,000.
What, as you look forward, money is always essential. You have to have money to move the program forward. What do you see as your major challenge now, moving into taking this to the next level and the next level after that, probably?
On the vaccine side, it is getting the cooperation of the drug makers who make Gardasil, and that's predominantly Merck, and then the World Health organizations that the drug makers work with, and the government. The government has to sign off on that, and that all just takes time. I don't see that any of that won't happen. It just takes time. The government of Haiti doesn't necessarily work at the same way we do in the United States. And they're resourceful, hardworking people, but they don't move at the pace that we move. That's our biggest challenge. Once we get the government program signed off on, we're off and rolling. We're rolling.
You were talking about the Haitian people, and that reminds me, I've lived in the Dominican Republic in the Peace Corps for 2 years, went to Haiti many years ago to visit. We were in the Dominican Republic in 2010 when that horrific earthquake struck and wiped out the large part of Port-au-Prince. I think 80% of the buildings had been destroyed, literally hundreds of thousands of people killed and maimed. It was just horrific. But as you've dealt with the Haitian people, how have you found them to be? Even with all of the tragedies going on, and Haiti has just a rich history, a cultural history, and it has a tragic history in the making because of all the terrible things that have happened in that country due to outside influences and what have you. But how did you find the Haitian people?
Joyous, gracious, grateful, hardworking. They're always doing something. We never could meet before 10 in the morning, and I sort of rolled my eyes. Well, the reason is because the women of Haiti are out figuring out where they're going to get their water and where they're going to get their food for the day. They're moving and rolling by 6 o'clock in the morning, and then anything we needed, not only were they there to help, they knew how to make it happen with the resources that they had. Duct tape. Duct tape's a big deal in Haiti. If you want to know what to give people in Haiti, give them duct tape. Duct tape and matches. It goes a long way. It goes a long way.
They can make it happen.
That's right.
Put it together.
They won my heart. They won mine. I've reached the point where I can't walk away. And it's not just me. It's my whole Prospect Goshen Rotary Club and those of us who went. We can't walk away. And you know that's okay. Because you don't always get an opportunity to do extraordinary things, and this is an extraordinary thing.
Exactly. I agree with every word you said. I would just add one word: resilient. I found the Haitian people to be very resilient under some very adverse conditions, and they really have bounced back, and they have just a joy of life, joie de vivre, I guess, or whatever you'd call it, but they really are remarkable people. Well, in the last closing 30 seconds that we have left, what type of message would you like to leave with our viewers as far as what to do to perhaps get involved in this project, to explore other projects, or to start your own project, whatever the case might be?
To help us, to help the Prospect Goshen Rotary Club, pgrotary.net, there is a contact us button, and let us know that you want to help, and we'll get right back to you. I would suggest, if you are interested in, if you're part of an organization that would like to set up your own see and treat, do the same thing, because our club knows how to get you where you need to go to make this happen.
Exactly. Well, Ann Heppermann, this is really a wonderful project. It's one of, it's not a multitude of projects. There are many projects out there that Rotary's involved in, and they're doing a remarkable job to help to create a better world. And of course, that's what Rotary is about: service above self, in helping people in the United States and in every community where Rotary operates, in all 35,000 clubs around the world. But this is a great project, and I want to commend you and the Prospect Goshen folks for the great work you're doing. And thank you so much for a very interesting and a very informative program.
Thank you for asking.
My pleasure. I'm Bill Miller. Thank you for joining us today on Global Connections Television.